Good morning, students. Today we'll talk about the various methods of personal selling. Earlier, we talked about what is sales management and what are the various importance and nature and scope of sales management. Now, we'll talk about the various process of personal selling. So, the first is prospecting, then you have pre-approach, then you have third approaching, then you have presentation and demonstration, then you have overcoming objections, then closing the sale, and lastly follow-up and services. So we start with the first one, that is prospecting. So the first step is prospecting, which means that the salespeople is identifying. It is the process that salespeople is engaging to identify the potential customers for selling the company's products and services. So the inflow and retention of prospects should be more than the outflow of the customers. A prospect is actually any individual, a firm, or an organization who has a need for the product or the services that is being sold by the salesperson. What are the various methods, or you can say the methods of prospecting? First one is consulting the existing customers. That means you consult the existing customers and you gather the prospects from the existing customers, because a satisfied customer will give you more potential customers. Then referrals from external sources such as the suppliers, the intermediaries, the trade associations, the chamber of commerce, many .com companies, they also provide a list of leads which is not very expensive. Then referrals from the internal company sources, you get reference from the company sources like the company website, trade shows, company advertising, etc. Then networking by the salespeople become member of organizations, and from there also they can choose their prospects. Then you can take help from the world wide web. There are various search engines. You can get in touch with the help of the search engines. You can look into the company records and get in touch with the old and the new customers. Then we have cold calling. Cold calling is actually what cold canvassing method, or it is also known as the cold turkey calling. It is resorted by salesperson to increase the number of prospects. Cold calling is actually what we do not have any reference of any person, but we're calling that person in anticipation of converting the call into a sale. So in this method, a salesperson prepares a list of the individuals or firms who are most likely to purchase the product, and with the presumptions, and then they call him in an anticipation that that particular person can become a prospect. Then you have junior salesman and bird dog method, and this is mostly given to the junior salespeople. The senior salespeople, what they do, they employ the junior salespeople to go to the door of every house in a particular locality or community and inquire the type of products they are using, so that you get a better insight into the customer's home about their preferences. Then you have qualifying. Once you're over with the prospects, you have to see if the prospects are qualifying or not. A probable condition for the potential customers to get qualified is the probable prospect has the need for the product, he can afford the product, and he has the ability to make a decision regarding the product. After the prospects are qualified, they are placed into three groups: hot prospect, warm prospect, and cold prospect. Hot prospects are those who are very likely to purchase the company's products in the near future. Warm prospects are those that they will buy the company's product, but they're not committed. And cold prospects, like they will talk a long time to buy, so they are actually kept in the pending list. Now you can see over here the sales funnel. How does it work? You can see it is an upside down funnel. So because what is happening is starting with the leads or the probable prospects. Then you're doing what? From leads you're going to the qualified prospect. That is who need the product. They actually have the necessary affordability for the product. They can take a decision regarding the product. Then you have the hot prospects. That is those who are actually able, will be taking the purchase product in the near future, and finally they can become customers. So you can see how it is narrowing down, how the sales funnel is narrowed down from the leads to the actual customers. Now we talk about pre-approaching, the second step, that is pre-approaching. So pre-approaching is what, as the name itself suggests, that pre-approaching is a fact-finding stage of selling process in which additional information other than about the prospect, such his dislikes, his likes, his habits, his type of buying attitude, his economic condition, everything is found out by the salespeople before he approaches before he approaches the customer to sell his product. The main objectives of pre-approach is it helps the salesperson to get further insight into the customer's needs and wants. Through the pre-approach, the salesman would know the prospect's likes and dislikes. The pre-approach would help the salesperson to get a complete picture of the prospect well in advance, knowing that the salesman can treat him like he wants to be treated. The objective of pre-approach is to provide the salesman with all the information that is necessary to make a sales strategy for selling to that particular customer. Now, if we talk about once the pre-approach is finished, then you come to the approach, where he's after gathering all the information, he approaches the salesperson. The salesperson approaches the customers. So during the stage, the salesperson takes a few minutes of small talk and gets to know the potential customer in a better way. So the various methods of approaches, first is introductory approach, where you're introducing yourself, you're introducing a company, you're introducing what is the purpose, what are the product you're having to fulfill the needs of the customer. Then you have the product approach, where you get a brief characteristic or features about the product that you're going to sell. Then you have customer benefit approach, where the salesperson actually uh, tells about the benefits that the customer is going to get after he buys the product. Then you have the question approach, where you actually ask his preferences, what is the and then you evaluate his preferences. Then you have the referral approach, where you're getting citing a satisfactory expression experience of sound customers, and they have purchased your product and they're very satisfied, and so you are referring those particular customers to the new prospect. Then you have innovative product handling approach for first and knowledge. Then you have premium approach, to that is to give small gifts to the prospect. And then you have the shock approach, where the salesman will give you shocks by telling you about something which is actually going to motivate you to make the purchase. For example, uncertainties that arise during the old age, so in that case the person becomes very frightened by the shock and he purchases the insurance. Then you have presentation and demonstration. So after the salesperson is over with the prospect, after finding the prospects, he makes the pre-approach and then he approaches the prospect. Then is the presentation and the demonstration method. So during the stage of the process, the sales representative actually makes a presentation. This can involve demonstrating the product or service, and showing customer why they need it. There are various methods of sales presentation. The first one is stimuli response method, then you have the formula method, then you have need satisfaction method, then you have consultative selling method, and then you have team selling method. So we start with the first one, that is the stimulus response method. This method assumes that if a salesperson makes the right stimuli, he can get favorable response from the prospect. This approach is also known as the canned approach. And a very example of a stimulus response method is that the question mm, the salesperson can go on asking a series of questions to the prospect until and unless he gets a yes from the customer. Then you have the formula method, also known as formulated approach, or mental state selling. This approach is based on a slogan coined by E. Elmo Lewis in 1989. In 1898, sorry, 1898. So according to this form, it is assumed that the salesperson assumes that the prospect actually goes through various mental states before he makes the actual buy. So the four stages are getting the attention of the customer, of the prospect, gaining his interest, and then creating a desire towards your product, and finally making the purchase. So these are the various mental states that a prospect goes through, and so the salesperson must plan and deliver the sales story in order to advance the buyer one mental state to another until the sales is completed by him. Then you have the need satisfaction approach of presentation. Over here, sorry, the selling points are organized to answer this question such as what is the prospect's real needs and wants, how will my product benefit the buyer, how can I best guide the prospect's thinking so a decision to buy the product can be made. Or you can say over here, the customer is being actually told about the various features, about the advantages that is going to get from the product and the various benefits you will get from the product. This is also known as the fab approach, that is the features of the product, the advantages that will be getting by purchasing the product, and the benefits. You can see in the diagram that it is uncover and confirm the buyer needs, present offering to satisfy the buyer needs, continue selling until purchase decision is made. So you're telling the features, the advantages and the benefits to the prospect over here. For example, if you wish to sell domestic pump set, the features you can give this, you get the salesperson can say that we have special design for a low voltage application. What is the advantage? Our pump sets can be used even when you have a low voltage situation. How will you benefit? For your low voltage condition, you can use a pump set. So this is the fab approach with which the salesperson actually presents to the prospect. Now, then we have the team selling method. From the name itself, you can understand that a team of people is involved over here. So this is actually one of the latest development in personal selling. Increasing more and more organizations are doing what? They're using multi-person sales team to deal with multi-person buying centers in the organizations. The sales team can consist of the key account executive, the national account manager, the technical support engineers, supply chain executive, the finance executive, etc. They are having a relationship process is being, they're trying to build a relationship with the buying center because these are actually the key accounts. So they wish to have a long time relationship with the organization. The buying center can include the purchase of the material executive, the material manager, the operation engineers, the finance executive, etc. So it is an expensive method and should be used only for key account or for the key customers. In team selling method, mostly a group presentation is done by one team to the other team. When a sales team makes the sales presentation to a group of decision makers from the buying organization, it is called as group presentation. So for a group presentation, it is very much necessary that you do a need analysis and find out what is the need of the buying organization. So it is very necessary that you introduce yourself, your company, the members of the selling firm, their designation, their purpose or objective of the presentation. Then you can try to convince the prospects or the buyer organization by telling them about some renowned customers. Then you can tell them about the very specific benefits that the buying organization will get if they purchase it, and you should be well prepared to answer the various questions that the buying organization will be asking after the presentation is over. Then you have the consultative selling method. So over here, the salesperson is acting like a consultant. He is actually solving the problem of the buyers, because buyers will be having various problems which they want to rectify. So it is the work of the salesperson to act as a consultant and help them solve the problems. So this approach is actually characterized by as understanding the buyer's need and positioning offering as solution to the problems of the buyers. How to make an effective presentation? So for making an effective presentation, it is necessary that you plan in advance. It is very much necessary that the salesperson does all the planning before he meets the prospects. He sets his objectives for each sales call. He can use the technology, various technology. He can adapt his presentation. He can tell about the benefit that the buyer is going to get by purchasing his product. but he should also take care that he does not bombard with a lot of information, so that this buyer can get irritated. He can understand, he can use such a language which can be understood by the buyer, and he should try to convince the buyer. Plan, then you can demonstration can be done in two parts. Salesperson should explain the product features, the advantages, benefits to the product of the product, and how the product works. Salesperson should also show the demonstration or actual working of the product. There are various types of presentation. The manufacturer of machines um, hold a trade show or an exhibition. They can take the buyer to a prospective customer to see how the equipment is actually being used. Then you can take the product to the customer's premises, or you can introduce your product through a technical seminar. So then the fifth point is handling of objections. Once the presentation has been done, there are many questions which will rise in the minds of the buyer. See, they will be asking various types of questions, and it actually depends on the tactics of the salesperson, how is able to handle the objections that are being raised by the buyer organization. So there are two types of objections. One is psychological or hidden objection, which includes predetermined idea or belief, uh, or preference for a special established brand and dislikes for making a decision. Second one is logical or real objection, which are tangible, such as quick delivery. You need a scheduled date, whether price is high or not, whether what is the product quality, if the product is available or not. So these are the various objections that can be raised by the buyer, and it should be handled by the salesperson in a very tactical way. Handling of logical objections can be done by asking questions, and you can turn the objection into a benefit, or you can deny the object in a very tactful way, or you can show a third party certificate, and you can give a compensation also. Compensation means what? Actually, sometimes the buyers have valid objections. For example, the Reliance considered material handling equipment for first time for the factories in Gujarat from Karnataka based manufacturer. The main objection over here was how the manufacturer would provide after sales services. So the manufacturer's senior marketing executive promised to station one service engineer at their premises and then open a service center near their premises. So this, in this way, they compensated for not having a after sales service in Gujarat. Then you can, boomerang method is there. Boomerang means something which comes back to you. So over here you're doing what? You're turning the objection into a reason for buying. Then you can admit valid objections and offsets. So every product has some disadvantages when compared to the competing products. We can admit such objections, and you can show how our product is also beneficial. Or you can postpone the answer for a future time, or you can deny the objection. The various recommendations for handling objections is that you should listen carefully, you should keep your temper low, don't argue with the prospects, make the customer feel that you care for them and you're interested in its needs and wants. Expect some objections and include in your answers before you are provoked. Then finally, what will you do? You'll give a trial close and try to close the sale. So if the salesperson has answered the objections of the prospect satisfactorily, then it is the time to close the sale. A good salesperson before closing does the trial close. So trial close is what? It gives to give an indication to the salesperson how near he is to the actual close. So trial close is an opinion of the buyer, whereas closing the sale is a buying decision. So he should do a trial close before the closing of the sale is done. You have the following closing techniques. That is, first one is alternative choice close, where the prospect is given a choice between two or more items or models from which he can choose. Then second one is minor point close, which is also similar to the above one. It is easier for a prospect to decide on minor points than to make a bigger decisions. If you buy this heater, which color do you prefer? How soon it can be delivered? Would you like to pay in installment? These are very small points which help you to close a particular sale. Then you have assumptive clause, which assumes that the sale has been made. Then you do a summary of benefits clause. It is a very popular technique. Actually, you summarize all the benefits by using the FAB approach and the cell sequence. So for example, a salesperson can say our AC has high efficiency, which tells about the feature. It uses very less electricity, which is advantage of the AC. This results in 15% saving in bills, which shows the benefit. So favorable responses, you can ask, the salesperson can be asked by the customer when to get the product delivered. So these are the various types of closing techniques. Then you also have a T account or a balance sheet closing technique, where you can see over here that he makes a T account and draws, and he writes down the benefits and the drawbacks, and then he tells about the various benefits that his product is having as against a little bit of drawbacks. And then you have the follow-up. So this is the last stage in the personal selling process. After the product or service has been delivered, the sales representative follows up with the customer to find out if they're pleased. If the customer is happy, the sales representative can also try to obtain additional references from the customers. So you should check the customer order, delivery period, his address, advance payments done or not, and you should follow up and plan visits for after the time of delivery. Then you can have various types of negotiations. So when you're already trying to sell, you can have various types of negotiation. The various styles of negotiation that are used are I win you lose situation, where the buyer is actually losing, and because of him the salesperson is the wins. So the winner is the seller and the buyer is the loser. Then there is another one which is mostly used very frequently, that is both win. Both the seller and the buyer are satisfied, and they think that both, and they are very satisfied that both have gained something from the deal. You win, I lose is very rarely used, and both lose is actually not used in common sense. In the sorry, in commonly it is not used, that is both are losing. So there is no use of such a negotiation where both will be losing. Over here I have shared some objective type questions which you can use for your practices, and like most sales training programs follow the steps of the selling process, because so you can answer these various answers, or you can these very objective type questions. Over here also I have some objective type questions. We can solve it and you can practice it and solve it. Okay students, thank you very much.